Hey folks, I think we're up and running. Let me check my signal here and make sure it's true. We're going to do some artwork this morning, and then we're going to be doing some game design later on tonight. So give me a hot second here to check my signal, make sure we're coming through. I'll do some social media postings, and then we'll get to work. Second here to check my signal. So, all right, looks like the sound is good. Let me fix that real quick here. Grab a link. And it should only take me a moment here to get up and running. And once we do, we'll dive into the heart of this. So, ba-bop, ba-bop, ba-bop. You know what? I want to grab a screenshot here of what we've been working on, so I have something to post on the social medias channel. This is how I do my social media stuff. Like when I post stuff, most people do it while the music's playing and you're waiting for the countdown, but I'm not that sophisticated, so I'm just going to grab these two columns here. I'm going to do a cutty-pasty copy like that. And then we'll drop this in here and drop this in here and drop this in here. There we go. And then we can get rid of the screenshot. No need to change, no need to keep it. Let's fix that down to there. Looks like everything is, yeah, everything's sitting pretty here. Let me get my shit lined up. There we go. Okay, that should survive the experience there. And then we're here and here. Here. That should be good. That should be good. And okay, we're done with all our social media postings, so we can actually get to work now. So I'm normally doing an introduction and stuff here, but I scuttled my work order here, so I had to actually think for a second. But my name's Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games. I illustrate them. I publish them online. And we're creating an adventure for the Eberron campaign setting using 5e24 rules. You're fighting necromancers in the Carnwood of Carnath and the continent of Corvair for levels 7 and 8. Here's the book cover that we created. Hold on, let me fix my screen here real quick, and then we'll actually get started. Click there. Okay, great. Yeah, we made this book cover around episode 40. So that's we actually have a full playlist down here of all episodes. We're at episode 451 here. So if you want to see the creation of the book cover or any of this other stuff, you can click here to step into the Wayback Machine. Otherwise, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications when we're live in the future. And thanks a lot, new subscribers. Really appreciate you guys taking an interest in the stuff that we're doing here. So let's get to work. We made the book cover. We're working on page art right now. For those that aren't familiar already, this is a 16:9 format. If you were to full screen right now with me, you would see. Let's switch out. Hey, let's switch out to our art tool. There, that goes like that, and then. There you go. There's your 16:9 format. To you, this should be a full screen now. And depending on what your device is, this is probably going to be pretty easy for you to read. This is designed to be used on a tablet, either in live space or as a side piece to running virtual tabletops. So you have reference documents that you can kick through. But the 16:9 format, horizontal, I don't know if you can see me or not, the horizontal alignment, you can see all three columns at the same time, but each individual column is also 16:9. So you can look at them as individual columns and always, and so the whole adventure is parsed so that each column is a complete thought. So you can literally just scroll from column to column and be able to feed through the adventure if you need, or obviously you can jump about in the document as you need from, area to area or wherever it is that you're doing. But when we last left off, we were painting flames onto our, this is the Sextant of Furnia. Furnia, the Sea of Fire. Sextant navigates water spaces, so I was being kind of punny with that. So I'm going to, I think I'm going to leave this here. So yeah, when we last left off, we were basically smudging this color. We're making flames. That's what we're doing. We got a timer going. So we can stay on point with where we're at today. I only have about an hour, a little bit, we have about an hour now for us to do art. So it's gonna work out. Everything's gonna work out. Let's switch to white. We're gonna switch to white, freaking hot. We're adding a layer. So art, the here I'll show you because this is, I think this is really cool. So I don't see color. So the RGB indicator up here in the corner, you see the mouse spinning over here, the up here in the corner. Right. This is my color vision here, the RGB slider. I only work in digital because since I can't see color, if I print something, I can't guarantee the proofs are going to look the way that I want them to. So I pretty much limit myself to PDF space. Considering what's going on in America with tariffs and craziness like that, I don't know. I think maybe tariffs got canceled. I don't know, but it seems like I'm being guided in the right direction with only doing PDF. It seems like there's less tomfuckery that can happen to me. So it seems like my limitation is just a good default idea. But okay, so regardless, we're looking at fire here, right? RGB. So I'm only doing digital, so I'm only needing to refer to RGB. Look at down here. At the base of the flame, it's white hot, like literally white hot. See that? The RGB scale there, the R, the G, and the B are all cranked up to 255 is the max. And this is like barely yellow. It's effectively white hot. And as we go up the flame, we're going to see the yellow drop, and then we're going to see the green drop, and the whole thing is going to drop into a dark red. So you see, there goes the yellow, there goes the blue, so it's just yellow now. And as we continue moving up the flame, you can see how the green is dropping down with the red, and now as we get up here, we're basically just moving into a red. Now, I know that the background is black, and that can affect the colors going on, but I want to make, this is the format that we're using for sculpting the flames. So you can see we started with the red flames at the tip, and now I'm working with white at the base. And the idea is to have them meet. I'm going to drop this down to, well, what do we see? Like 244, 245... What, 250? Yeah, something like that. We'll go with that as our base. So I'm just going to work this in. It's very difficult for me to see. There's a mild difference here between this background and this off-white that we're using. I have to pay attention to that. Because it's difficult because it blends into the background so much. So I'm going to we have a base color layer here. It's just a blanket yellow. I think it's yellow. Is that true? Yeah, it's just a blanket yellow. So once we get done with all this smoothing in, I'll be able to highlight outside the yellow and erase anything like any little fingers or anything that's out. So I'm just going to work this color. I'm just going to do this the entire thing. I'm just working the color in, overlapping the red that we already have. And the idea is that they will blend into each other along the way. And we'll hopefully, and then I'll do a third layer that's going to be the middle ground where it's transitioning out of dropping yellow into dropping green, where the yellow turns into red along the way. So I'm not sure. Right now I'm just doing blending. I'm not sure how the actual color is skewing into this, but I know this is the right way to do it. So I'm just going to stick with this just general fading. And then as a final overlap layer, we'll be able to do like little individual strands or fingers of heat going into like this little snidget here can curve down into the rest of the form and make a little bit more depth in the fire. It's very two-dimensional right now. So we just got to get we have to get the color fade right overall, and then we can add depth. Yeah, add depth to it by doing overlapping fingers of fire, fingers of heat. Hey, I just got a thing happening here. Hold on. Yeah, we're doing fine. Cha-da-cha-da-cha-da-cha. Hey, Fox, how you doing, man? It's good to see you. I see one of your allies landed in the Discord server to do some playtesting with us. Proud to have him. How are we looking here? How is this looking? See, yeah, it's eventually going. See, it's panning out. This yellow could drop faster than the green though, so I'll probably have to modify this mid ground here. But that's what we were talking about. The base is good though, so I'm good. I'm good with this base. It starts off white hot, and then see there the yellow starts to drop, and then the green drops. But the yellow needs to the blue drops, and then the green drops behind it. The blue needs to drop faster. So when we build up this middle ground here, we'll find something that's 0 blue, mid green, and then we'll add that in like around here somewhere to be able to set up this proper transition from yellow into from white to red. So, but yeah, this is gonna work. It just takes a little, like everything I do, it takes a while to do it. But this is why, you know, I'm an indie creator that does this as a side hustle instead of a full-time business, because I can't operate at a volume that's high enough to be able to crack out books faster, but I also can't pay well enough to hire on other people to help me do it. so until I hit it big, which could be never, it's basically just me doing the thing, and that's worked so far for the past 7 years. And when it's time for me to evolve into something bigger, I will crack out of this cocoon and become whoever that is, whether I like it or not. So I'm just going to revel in where I'm at right now and thank God that I can do it at all, and just appreciate who I am, where I'm at, and the role that I play in this world. Where? Yeah. Put that back in there like that. Oh boy, this is micromanaging, huh? Like super close pixely blips. There, curve that out a little bit. I like that though. I like it. What's up? It's interesting how you handle color theory. Watching you get around it is super interesting and fun to watch. Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. I never know if I pull it off until somebody said, "Hey, you pulled it off." So I appreciate the words of encouragement. All I can do, obviously all I can do is just sample test against other things that I see, and if the RGB lines up, I know I probably did an okay job. But like I said, I think one of my rewards for dying is going to be able to remove the colorblind goggles and take a last look at all the things that I created in color, so I can see how everyone else got to see it before it fades from me caring about it anymore. Because, you know, once I'm dead, I kind of have like a I am humanity sort of look. Like I lose the separation of my ego wall from everyone else's. And then I don't really care who killed JFK anymore. I don't care if there's aliens anymore because I'm dead. Because like all the answers are there. Who cares? It's only interesting to me right now because of the limited space that my consciousness exists inside of. The walls of separation make me curious about what's outside of them. But when unified in death, it's not that you lose memory of everything. It's that you know everything and that nothing is so important that you have to break the illusion of separation in life. Like, if Jesus came back to Earth to save everyone, I don't think the top priority on his list would be talking about whether JFK was shot by one or two guys, you know? Like, once your perspective pans out large enough, you don't really give a crap about like individual coups and stuff like that. It's just like the context the context changes, you know? Like everything that you thought was so important inside of your one little life. It's like, does that really matter anymore? And from a species consciousness collective, the answer is no. JFK is not that important. No, alien visitors really isn't that important. None of this is important. But while you're shedding that skin and you get answers, you get the opportunity to go, huh, I don't know if this is true. I mean, obviously, I'm not actually like reading from the Akashic records or nothing, but that is my philosophy. I'm pretty certain that's how it works. From all the mystics and gurus and Christ figures, all seems to agree that death isn't an ending. It's a taking a bow, unshedding the costume, and having a beer with your eternal friends. Or, as Rick and Morty would put it, you stop playing Roy. Game over. And you'll snap back into reality, and you can play the same Roy character again, or you can custom build your own with your own challenge rating. And maybe it's maybe actually life is a roguelike game where every time you complete a life, you get some extra points that you can load into as options for you to mess around with how the game will play in the roguelike state, like Shovel Knight or any other ones. You accumulate these points, like Tower Defense. It's just a run, but you're limited. You don't have all of your resources up front. You have to build them, right? But you come into the game, you spawn in with certain options because that's how long you've been playing the game in general. Your individual life might benefit from it with these like karmic perks or something, like you have telepathy. It's like, holy shit. You mean from now on when I make characters they can have telepathy? That's fucking expensive, but it's awesome. Let's cue that in. And now you've got the hill. So anyway, it's an interesting theory that keeps me giggling while I'm still here. We'll figure out where it all goes. You need more coffee for this conversation. Cheers to that, my man. Sometimes we dive deep, you know? Sometimes we dive deep. Break through that ego barrier. The Human Instrumentality Project is live and well in me. So tonight we're going to continue working on the Bastion system. Okay, so here's what I would normally say. I would say, hey, I stream 9 times per week, Monday through Friday in the morning like this, and then on Mondays and Thursday nights, including tonight, I work on the martial power system. The Bastion campaign system, where we're taking the Bastion idea that's in the new DMG 2024 and converting it into a downtime activity skill-based system, like an ability check system, kind of like how Acquisition Inc. was handling downtimes with franchises, but we're expanding, codifying, and creating a replicatable system. So we'll be working on that, and then on Tuesdays and Friday at lunch, we work on character design stuff, and right now we're in the process of finishing the Spell Point Sorcerer. It should have been finished on Friday, but I got flooded at work and I couldn't take a lunch. So don't tell management. They hate it when people skip lunches because, you know, American laws. But truth be told, I skipped lunch on Friday, so that's why I didn't get to stream. So Tuesday, tomorrow, I should be able to finish the Spell Point Sorcerer series by updating the Lunar Sorcery for Dragonlance. That's how I would normally conduct this week. And while I am excited to continue working on the Bastion campaign document because we're resolving settlements, and from there we're damn near running out of stuff to do in the Bastion campaign document before I should be looking at doing a text cleanup and consider recruiting an editor to resolve that stuff. But sorry, I got a bit of a sniffle this morning, it seems. There was a flu running around Seattle last week. I thought I had avoided it, but maybe I've actually caught it, and this could be the fall of Phil here. Hopefully I'll stay on my feet. But so the mystery here. I'm talking like something's changing because something is changing. The Bastion system is almost done. The Spell Point Sorcerers is almost done. And there is an annual event that I've started participating in. I started last year with Kraken Week, but it's a Monster of the Week sort of thing. Like it's like Shark Week. You know, there's a bunch of YouTube D&D content creators that choose a type of monster and make a week out of it. And last year it was Kraken Week, so I made a video about Mega Kaiju Space Krakens attacking Rock of Brawl, to basically show off how can you make Mega Kaiju in D&D 5e and what kind of challenges can you create to make them fun. And I see see that little snidge there? That is just absolutely infuriating me right now. So I want to zoom in on that dude. There it is. There he goes. Maybe that lemon wasn't worth the squeeze, but I saw it, so I had to kill it. So Dragon Week. I'm going to yet again utilize Spelljammer mechanics, but instead we're going to be the video is going to be basically about like Dragonlance. How can you narrate dragon flight with mounted characters, like with dragon lances, spearing and attacking, basically dragons skirmishing in the sky. How can the mechanics of D&D 5e properly narrate all that kick-ass dragons flying in the sky sort of artwork from Dragonlance? And how can we actually utilize the Dragonlance as a dangerous weapon? And so I want to use the pursuit and maneuvering mechanics from the Spelljammer document that I created, because it works just as well for creatures as it does for ships. and I want to demonstrate that. But it's not going to be at like 1,000,000 miles per hour. It's going to be basically just at the 50-foot scale, because dragons fly way too fucking slow. So I want to ramp that up. So we're going to have basically two modes of two gears that dragons can move in, which is normal 5e 5-foot scale dungeon combat, where you're either on the ground or basically hovering above ground while engaging landbound creatures or slow creatures in melee combat, or breath weapon or blah blah blah, but very close, like typically within 50 some odd, within 100 feet. But then there's the idea that dragons can fly real fast. Like it's not unusual for birds in the real world to be able to move 40 miles per hour, which is basically a move speed of 400. A human character with a 30-foot move speed can basically overland travel 3 miles per hour. So if you've got a swallow or a sparrow or a pigeon or whatever that can fly at 40 miles per hour, its effective move speed is 400 while it's flying. It's like 5 feet while it's not flying and 400 feet while it's flying. Well, that's a very realistic speed and makes a lot of sense for dragons being able to cover a huge territory, because currently their flight speed is limited to 80, which means that they can only fly over land. They can only move 8 miles per hour, which is absolutely fucking ridiculous. So we need a way to be able to shift gears so they can have high speed overland movement, so they can catch a goddamn bird. But we need to be able to have mechanics that allow us to engage in combat at that high speed, which we've developed in the Spelljammer mechanics. It's called changing scale, and having a fluid movement system that lets you transition from one scale to another. And at the 50-foot scale, if I've got a move speed of 8 squares and each of those squares is 50 feet in a 6-second round, that's effectively a 40 mile per hour move speed that I'm maintaining on a 6-second burst. So the video that we're going to make is going to basically walk through how that works, and then look at how does that apply to characters riding on the back of dragons or griffins or pegasi, etc., and be able to engage in combat with each other on the backs of fast-moving flying creatures or on airships. Because it's the same mechanics. It's just, is it mechanical, or is it magical, or is it a creature actually flying on its own accord? But the mechanics stay the same no matter what. So we'll look at scaling mechanics, so we can pan in and out of the 5-foot scale where your character's on the back of a dragon, duking it out with, other dragon riders, or do we pan out to the 50-foot scale where dragons are breathing flame, are firing breath weapons at each other while they're dogfighting? So we'll have dogfighting mechanics. We'll look at a little bit of lair actions that you can have at this scale. Like if you try to invade a red dragon's turf around the volcano that he's lairing at, the entire volcano can be the lair. And you can pan out to the 50 or even the 500-foot scale and look at that structure, that landmass as the lair, and what kind of traps and stuff can be set up in that environment that the red dragon lairing there knows about, that invaders like your characters don't. To set traps, to get you into a chase, to get you chasing the dragon, and then it leads you past different danger points that are hazards that might cause you to get knocked from your mount and free fall to death, or slow your dragon pursuer down, yada yada yada. So that's the idea of the video that we're making, and I need to have it made and completed, I think, by the 20th, which is a week from now. So I think I can do it. But so that brings us to the conclusion of, why are we talking about Bastions tonight, Phil? Well, I'm probably going to spend some time on Bastions, but I know for a fact that tonight I'm going to be either on camera or off camera. I'm working on that Dragonflight video. So I might decide, if I find a natural breaking point, or if I just decide I want to switch gears while we're doing the Bastion campaign tonight, I'll instead start doing art assets and maps and stuff for the Dragonflight video. And I'll basically ramble on and talk about that. So that might end up being what I talk about this week, because I didn't realize that was coming up so quickly. And now I feel like I'm in a time crunch. So I now need to invest time in making sure those assets are done so I can make a video that looks half decent. It's going to be half-assed. Everything I do is half-assed. So it's all improvised, and it's all off the cuff. I don't do scripts and stuff like that, really. It's just I live stream, and there's no takebacks in live stream. So I'm not big into editing. So I'm trying to lean away from that. So with God's grace, it'll end up being cool. The ideas are good. I'll be posting the assets on my Patreon. I've already broken down the changes in stats during Dragonflight. It'll pan out. Hey, what's up? As long as I can translate into 1980s game Joust, I want to kill things on my flying big chickens. I loved Joust as a kid. God. Flying around on space ostriches, that was such a fun game. All you had to do is just be a little bit above the enemy's lance, and you're good to go. Such a silly video game. It was so fun. I could make a badass campaign around Joust if I had good rules. Just saying, well, let's say. Maybe what I provide will be good. I can always, this is a week. I can put the Bastion campaign on hold for a week to knock this thing out, because I need to knock this thing out. I said I was going to do it. I got to do it, and I want to do it. It just crept up on me. So, crisis is the mother of invention. I suspect we'll have some inventive ideas. But the mechanics are all there. I've already done all the mechanics. They work great. I've used them in multiple campaigns already. So, it's the mechanics are good. It's just can I explain them succinctly so that people sorry, I've got this wetness in my nose. So the mechanics work. They already exist. It's all there. I just got to express it in a cool video. Let's do it like that. This may or may not be the right way to do this. That's why we do it in a separate layer, so we can delete it if it isn't. It's you know what? No, I don't like how this is jiving. Turns out I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I'm gonna stick with what we've already been doing, which is running these edges. And I'm trying to expand the mega dungeon for the playtest. I have 9 zones currently. The characters just conquered the 5th. So hold on, I gotta blow my nose. This is driving me fucking crazy. BRB. There we go. So the team just resolved the 5th zone and are now exploring the 6th zone of the dungeon that we're playtesting for the Martial Powers campaign on my Discord on Saturdays. I have 9 zones built out already, and I was kind of running into I was waiting for inspiration to strike, so I knew what the rest of the dungeon would be like, because you have to like change the environment, or you have to change things about the dungeon space that you're in. Otherwise, it becomes monotonous over time. So there has to be events or some sort of shift in environment, or some sort of shift. And the two things that the two things that I've done specifically with this particular dungeon is, one, there's cave-ins that happen. An earthquake opened up the dungeon, but it's also limited portions of it. So there's been cave-ins, but then additional cave-ins can happen that could open up new areas in the future. So it has a dynamic environment that does change over time, and there's a percentage chance every time that the team basically I roll a d4, and whenever the team takes a long rest or like finishes an episode, I'll roll the d4, and when it's a 1, some sort of cave-in activity happens. Something changes in the environment, either where they're at currently or further down, and sometimes it fills it with dust, or if the team doesn't get to the area fast enough, all the dust is settled and all they see is the aftermath of it. So there's dynamic things that are happening in the dungeon space that the team doesn't necessarily see. But there's also a chance of things opening up. So on a d4, if I roll a 1, I roll the d4 again, and if it rolls a 1 the second time, it opens up a space instead of closing off a space. So even I don't necessarily know what is going to happen next in the dungeon. It's just procedurally generated. So I am now, like I said, I've figured out up through 9 zones, and each zone is a 500-foot space. So there's basically a 500-foot space map that the team can navigate around inside of, and each 500-foot space is a new zone. I've got 9 zones figured out already, and I was like, we're gonna need like probably 16 zones, maybe 18 zones for us to be able to complete the campaign through 10th level. And I wasn't sure what the 10th plus zone was going to look like. I just knew what needed to be in it, but I wasn't sure exactly how was it going to get expressed. Well, I figured that out. So now I'm really excited about proceeding with building out the rest of the dungeon, because I know what it's supposed to feel like now. And so I'm really, really excited about that. There. But when this martial powers, I think this martial powers thing is going to end up being pretty cool. I like it. Just the playtesting is there to tweak things, to make sure that we're not over tuning anything, that any combos and stuff are broken, and we have to figure it out. And we found some more this week. It's really exciting to me. Be able to suss all that stuff out. This is gonna be a good one. Martial powers is probably one of the coolest things that I've created. I honestly, I really am Although I am very patient and understand the timelines that involve with me creating stuff, I am very excited about having all of the color mechanics as well as the martial powers built for 2024 and published. So I really want to have the final products done so I can start, building things with it. Like all this time has just been taken to build the machinery to be able to do what I really want to do, which is take any Magic the Gathering card and convert it into a subclass, a character, or something like that. So I need to have more than just spell options and subclasses in the D&D 5e game engine for me to be able to properly build a Sedge Witch or Suicide Girl or a Boros Swiftblade or, blah, blah, blah. Izzet Flame Spitter. I need to have all 13 classes working on the same mana system. So when I look at a card, I can be like, okay, that could be a blend of X, Y, and Z, and then have X, Y, and Z all be mechanics that are already published. So I can say, hey, check out this, and this. You can add those things together, and now here's what your Sedge Witch looks like, for example. Like it's a super fucking long con play to build out all this MTG language using the D&D 5e game engine, but boy, it's been fun to do, and it's all for this purpose of being able to convert all this shit. So I am that's what keeps me motivated. That's what keeps me positive. That's where I want to go. I have no idea if Wizards of the Coast is ever going to get around, especially since they keep mothballing portions of the D&D gameverse. I don't think like Tarkir. They're probably never going to make a campaign setting for Tarkir. They're probably not going to ever make a campaign setting for Zendikar. They've got their plane shift stuff on DMsGuild, which is like which are interesting directions to take, but it doesn't deep dive into character builds like this. It doesn't transform the deck of cards that the release of like Tarkir. They aren't providing us with a stack of here's character options. Like I really think if Wizards really wanted to smash D&D out of the park, they should have just made it all Magic the Gathering stuff. So that Magic the Gathering as a card game could also simultaneously be built out as a campaign setting whenever they release a new deck of cards. You see homebrewers like on Reddit and stuff that do stuff like that, and I will eventually be one of them once all these tools are completed. But I really feel like Wizards completely missed the boat on that. And who knows, with them switching out Crawford and Perkins for whoever's next, maybe that's the direction that they'll go in. I used to fancy the idea of working with them on this sort of stuff, but they lay people off so often. I've got a good day job, and I have the freedom to work on, maybe not with prestige, but I can work on all these things on my own as a hobby and be able to pursue them without having to worry about compromise from corporations. So I think I really am doing what I'm supposed to do, the way that I'm supposed to do it. Anyway, I'm rambling. What's up? I really like 24 better. It's an increase in. I recognize that there's an increased spike of power for characters. That they are more powerful. That we've been playtesting. The martial power system doesn't help measure that, because martial powers is also a sizable juicing. The martial power mechanics are there to put everybody on the same mana system, so that there's a universal resource that can be used to express Magic the Gathering cards. That is first and foremost why am I doing any of it. That is the oh shit, I just locked up. I have to hit save and reopen the document. Having said that, and being that I am a color mana enthusiast over everything else about 5e, 5e24 works better with the mana system. Because before, it was like, is this mana stuff making things more powerful for characters? And with 24, I really feel like, no, it's just a different way of getting to the same level of power. In 5e14, you could arguably say that the like martial powers, the color mana says, like spell points in general is more powerful than what the 5e14 rules were based. But 2.4 adds so many more resources and options to what characters can do. Now the martial power system and the mana system is more like, well, instead of being able to do all that stuff that way, you're going to do it this way instead. And I really don't feel like it's an upgrade. Like, I don't really feel like it's a leg up anymore. Except for, you know, removing the martial caster divide. That will always be its own thing. I like how hiding's been handled. I like how persuasion or influencing has been handled. I'm pretty good with how like they've codified actions like study and search and utilize, and I think all these like mechanical tags, like they're like meta tags almost. So like not actual tags, but they're close to it. I like where that direction went. At first, I mourned the loss of contested die rolls because I think I could see how they could lean further into contested die rolls, but I respect that they switched all the contested stuff into just static saving throws. I think that makes the DM's job actually easier by making static DCs. There's less variables that the DM has to take into account. So designing challenges that are proper for the actual characters feels easier. I know what your numbers are. I know what the monster numbers are. There's less variable interaction between the two of them. You're setting DCs and you know what the players are going to roll to hit them. It's very straightforward. I like that. I honestly like that. I like the changes to exhaustion, though I wish they had decided to go with a 10-point scale instead of the 5-foot steps or the 5-step method that they kept, or rather 6, because you know if you get beyond 5, you're dead. But I like the more subtle gradient, but overall exhaustion changes are really good. I like those. I don't like some of the new spells that they introduced, like the Conjure Minor Elementals and Conjure Woodland Beings and stuff like that. I don't agree with those spells. I think there was a lot of misses in making it improve. Like they could have helped clarify, like Force Cube and stuff like that. I think they could have readdressed the power issues involving like actual save or suck spells like that. Like the microwave where you trap somebody in a force cube and then you turn on Moonbeam. I think that's an interaction that they could have taken time to fix. They didn't improve spike growth. I think they could have improved that. So I can whinge and bitch about individual spell effects, but I can also, as a DM, I can also say fuck you can't use them. And if a DM isn't saying fuck you can't use that in my campaign, if you aren't saying that to players occasionally, A, you don't have a well-sculpted campaign, and B, you don't necessarily know what's healthy for your game. If you're just throwing the kitchen sink at every campaign, I still don't let Silvery Barbs in, but there is Silvery Barbs in the Curse of Strahd campaign that I play in. And it always makes me cringe a little bit whenever it happens, because it's like something went well for the monster. Silvery Barbs. It's like the answer to fucking everything, and it's just a matter of how cheesy am I willing to be with it, not how does the game limit the cheese. Like you see, like the player has to restrain themselves from not spamming Silvery Barbs infinitely, or not infinitely. I mean. Okay, so the 5e game engine with its spell slots, it does limit Silvery Barb. So, like, once you get through your 4 first-level spells, how high of a spell level slot, how much additional mana are you willing to burn to be able to do this thing again? And that becomes a greater and greater debate as you scale up through the spell slots. And spell points don't have that problem because it always remains 1 point to cast the spell. And so if I have a pool of 40 points, that's a fuckload of silvery barbs I can throw around. So I do respect and understand the scaling difference there, where your low level spells become more expensive, and at some point it might just might not be practical, but you could if you really had to. So I respect that, but if that's how you're designing your game, then that means that your spells aren't actually balanced at first level. You're just assuming that, well, by the time they get down to third level spell slots, they probably aren't going to think they're worth it. That's not actually good. That's not good self-referential game design. That's relying on attrition, making it unflavorful, or making it unappealing to continue using this broken thing. But we're going to let you use this broken thing for a while anyway. Like, it shouldn't be fucking broken in the first place. Just like Fireball shouldn't be doing 8d6 damage when you say, yeah, third level spell should be doing 66 AoE damage. It's like you're breaking your own rules on purpose to create iconic spells. It's like, the spell isn't iconic because it's broken. The spell's iconic because Fireball's fucking cool. Don't break the spell to make a meta-narrative as to why it's an iconic spell. Just accept that it's iconic and leave it average to demonstrate how iconic spells are reinforcing the system instead of immediately breaking your own system. Like, but that's a 5e14 complaint. My complaint about 24 is that they didn't fucking fix it. It's like they heard the assignment, but they addressed something. We were talking about this. They heard the assignment, they addressed something different. So I just, it's disappointing. So I like it, but I'm disappointed by it at the same time. Like, it could be so much, like, it could always, I'm a designer. I always think something can be better. And the design work that I do is basically, here, hold my beer, let me prove it can be better. There, I built it. But you know, it's just like an opinion, man. It's not official Wizards stuff. Granted, at this point, Wizards stuff is just basically an opinion now too. I don't know, man. I don't know who's designing for this stuff at this point. I don't know who's been designing for this stuff. I question the quality assurance that goes into these things at this point. But I fucking love the IPs. And I love the game, and I love all the campaign settings. It's as a massive fanboy of 40 years, it's hard for me to let D&D go. And saying that, I'm not motivated to let it go. It's just, there's not a lot of other games I think are more fun. I don't know if that answers your question or not. They really, I think they need to reduce. Well, that's one of the things about the mana system that I've been building for now with marshals as well as casters is, I think there just needs to be a unified resource system that you can compare across all classes and see, hey, it looks really broken here, but it seems balanced there. What is it about this resource that's breaking here but not there? The resource can stay static. It's just how are the characters utilizing the resource. So there's too many resource options in the 5e game, in the 2.4 game engine, that it's hard to see the balance point. It feels rushed. I think there was answers there that they didn't have time to fully explore. There's also the issue of legacy getting in the way. Like, we have to stay with Vancian spell magic because it's always been Vancian spell magic. It's like, well, wouldn't it be a better game if it wasn't? Well, 4E said, yeah, it can be a better game, but it doesn't feel like D&D anymore. That's a big challenge. How do you make a better game engine, but it still feels like D&D? And one of the things that makes things feel like D&D is wonky mechanics, to a certain extent. Even though the 5e game engine did a lot of work in smoothing out wonky, weird mechanics, having wonky, weird mechanics is just part of the vibe of 5e in general. So them having a cacophony of different types of resources available to characters is actually very much in the 5e vibe. But like you said, balancing all those resources and those options against each other is difficult. I gotta say, man, the 5e14 game engine, when you don't use feats and you don't allow multi-classing, the core classes without any of the extra bells and whistles, it's pretty solid. I ran a full campaign from level 1 to 20 without feats, single class characters. It was the first campaign that I ran in the 5e game engine. I was like, if we're gonna run 5e, we should really start it off at its base minimum. This is what we like. All these other things that are options. Let's run the game without any of those options to see how well it plays. And the original 14 game engine without feats and without multi-classing, it runs real good. It runs really good every level, all the way to the top. And then we started adding pieces into it, and it became more and more difficult to scale. Of course it did, because you're getting more and more options available to your character. You become more powerful with every option that you get to choose. That's just how design works. That's called optimization. But the core of 5e is really, really good. Yeah. Oh, really? Oh, really? No feats, single classes? Nice. Like, once you want to, seriously, if you're like a serious fucking D&D player, and I know there's less so now than before because they kind of gave up on it, but I think people shouldn't have given up on it. They should have just played core. They should have just played 5e fucking core and not be like, this game sucks. It's like, well, then stop playing it with everything in the kitchen sink. Be discerning. Like these other game engines that like people are looking to switch over to, they are discerning. They don't have a huge kitchen sink with a whole bunch of shit in it. It's a curated experience. D&D is, in my opinion, D&D is supposed to be a curated experience where the DM knows what they want to have out of that kitchen sink. They know what to grab to blend into their game to make it run right. Like as a very minor example, and pardon the pun, the asteroid belt mining campaign that I'm running for my characters, the Spelljammer Eberron game, we only have 3 races, ancestries or fuck off, whatever. There's only 3 races. There's artificers, there's gnomes, and there's dwarves. Like that's the limited palette that we get to use for our characters. And although there are a fuck ton of different type of creatures out there, like those are the 3 that we've just limited our palette to. This is what your guild is. These are who you hire. That is what you will have. And the team was fine with it. It's like, that makes sense. Like this is the curated experience. Like the campaign I ran before that was humans only. Because I knew they were going to be doing Underdark stuff, and I wanted darkness to be a fucking problem. So I'm like, hey, humans only. Or if you really want, we kept it all humans, but it's like, if you really want to do something else, I can consider it, but can't have dark vision. So everyone just ended up staying with humans. Look at Dark Sun. Dark Sun has like, they basically removed the food and water spells from Dark Sun. It's like Dark Sun is going to be infinitely more difficult and therefore more fun if you can't just create water and you don't have good berries and blah, blah, blah. Like take all those toys away from your casters so that survival remains brutal. I literally killed a character. I killed, in Dark Sun, I killed a 7th level character the first adventure that we started at 7th level. I killed them first adventure because they got lost and they didn't carry enough water with them. They literally died of dehydration. They had to roll up a new character. Like, that sounds fucking brutal. It's like, yeah, but they found their own corpse later and they felt fulfillment from that. Like, you gotta understand the vibe of your game, who's playing it, and what curated experience do you need to create? How do you need to curate it for it to actually run proper, right? And I just hit my 20-minute mark. I've got like a few minutes left today. I've been pontificating a lot and have not gotten done with my flames like I wanted to, but it's not a race. It's a journey. We're going on an adventure here with pixels. It's a pixel adventure. But yeah, I think if people allowed themselves to curate their own 5e experience instead of just being sick of the kitchen sink being broken, it's like you don't have to use all that shit. Just fucking empower yourself so you can run the game that you want. If you like the 5e game engine, just limit your palette so that the engine stays good, but the campaign is appropriate for what you're envisioning. Anyway, I could rant about that shit for fucking ever. Yeah. Hey, Fernando. Yeah. Well, Fernando, if you're not familiar with my stream, welcome to it. But the martial power system that we've been building is, like I've been ranting about, is a system that grants all characters a unified mana system and converts everything that they do, both spellcasters and martial characters, to utilize that unified game. It's a color mana system. It's there for Magic the Gathering. We were talking about that earlier in the episode. How the goal of building all these books is so I can take Magic the Gathering cards and make subclasses or races or whatever I want out of them, but have a unified mana language so that everyone is using the same resource system, mana points, to be able to express their characters. The ramp up time to get the design work done, it's fucking ridiculous. It takes forever, but with God's grace, I'll stay alive long enough to complete it. Whether 5e is popular at all or not, when all the stuff that I want to do is built or not, it probably doesn't matter at this point, because WotC has said they're not changing it. So I'll be the old guard, the old knight, waiting for someone to show up to try the grail. It's like, choose wisely. Anyway, that's a rant. Yeah. So yeah, welcome to the team, Felix. Sorry, Fernando. Ixilix. I like that, Ixilix. That's neat. Yeah, level 12 is dealing the same damage as a wizard. Yeah. Scaling is a challenge, and it takes a lot of design to make that shit curve out. I think we've done a pretty good job with it, with the martial powers playtesting so far. I'm feeling confident, and we're only level 5 right now, but at level 6 we're going to start we will have the option of adding full casters into the menu, and so we'll be able to start having them running side by side. But yeah, the conclusion to all of that is, if DMs felt empowered to curate the 5e experience that they're providing, I think they wouldn't get tired of it. It wouldn't get dull, because there's so many ways you can spin it. There's so many ways you can reflavor it. It's an incredible game engine. But I don't think Wizards. Foxy, I know we were talking about this, is how the DM support isn't there. And I think the DMs, like, there's so many new people that came into 5e, they're switching to these other game systems because these other game systems are saying, hey, here's how you build things. And 5e has not done a good job of saying, hey, DM, here's how you actually build things. They gave us cool options in the 14 DMG, which they took a lot of that toolbox stuff away in 24. But what they could have done is left the toolbox in place and instead investing time into, here's how you actually use these tools to build experiences. And Mike Merles was talking about that, about like how they were originally planning on having like the core engine and then having different gears that you could shift in to change the experience. But that plan got sidelined, that once they wanted like curate, like them curating their experience was basically, it runs this way. and trying to say D&D only runs one way. This is the way that you run it. And then keep adding options into it, saying, no, all these options are viable, and you need to make your shit so that they remain viable because we want to sell books with that shit in it. And like their heart was in the wrong place. Which leads me back to the to the opinion of, I don't think corporations should really have a hand in creative experiences. I think the very nature of S corps or like stock, like publicly traded companies, is antithetical to creativity. They want stability. They don't want spontaneous and expression. They want fucking numbers that will always go up, up, up. And so everything they build is along that alignment. And I think that kills creativity. In the like it stifles it. It encourages the wrong type of creativity. How can I exploit? Instead of how can I express this better, even if it's even if it limits our palette. I am damn near out of time today, guys. Yeah, it's 7:58. 8 o'clock's always my stopping point, but I'm always here Monday through... Well, not always. You know, sometimes sickness happens or shit happens. But typically I'm here Monday through Friday in the mornings. And then we'll do game design tonight. Like I was saying, we're going to work on the Bastion system some more for 5e24 tonight. Tomorrow we're going to work on Spell Point Sorcerers at lunchtime. Tonight, we're specifically working on developing settlements as bastions, and if I reach a stopping point with that, or I burn out on it, then I'm going to switch gears. I'm going to work on the Dragonflight stuff for the video that I'm making. I've got a fuck ton of stuff on my plate, and somehow we'll figure out how we can get it all done. We'll figure it all out. And I'm just messing around with this last little gout of fire here before we let it go. We're almost done with this. What I'm going to do is take like little strands like this and like make little like additional little flicks and licks inside of here of different flame and stuff like that, so it stays interesting. But we're not there yet. We're still doing the base. So way too much doing that. This sextant is, well, I think it's turning out cool. I like it. But as usual, it's taking longer than I expected. All right, I just hit my mark. I just hit my end point. I got to go. Hey, thanks for, yeah. I'm here 9 times per week, man. And my Discord link is down below if you want to kick into it. You're welcome to. Sunny Strike is a good option to burn legendary resistances. Yeah, no kidding, right? Right on, man. Thanks, Fox. All right, that's it. I'm out of here, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Cheers. I'll be back in 10 hours. We'll be doing Bastion stuff in 10 hours. See you then.